Today we are going to discuss about the Hardy-Weinberg law, and this is important topic in the ICAR JRF exam. Let's see the proof. This is the question paper of Animal Science 2024 paper. Here is the question. According to Hardy-Weinberg law, genotype frequencies in the progeny depends only on the answer is gene frequency in the parents. We will discuss about it. Now let's start. Hardy-Weinberg law proposed by the G.H. Hardy and W. Weinberg. And G.H. Hardy was an English mathematician, and the W. Weinberg was the German physician. They proposed the Hardy-Weinberg law in the 1908 independently. Now, the another name of the Hardy-Weinberg law, that is the square law and genetic constancy principle, or genetic constancy principle, and the another famous name is random mating. This is the random mating principle. Now, what is the actual law? The actual law states that in a long random mating population, large random mating the populations, in the absence of three important points, that is the selection, mutation and migration. So in a large random mating population, in the absence of selection, mutations and the migrations, the gene and the genotype frequency remain constant for generation to generations, from generation to another generations, and the genotypic frequency of the offspring is only depend on the gene frequency of parent. Am I clear? Now let's it states that in a large random mating population, in the absence of the selection, mutation and the migration, the gene and the genotype frequency remain constant from one generation to the another generation. This is the first part. And second part, the genotypic frequency of the offspring only depends on the gene frequency of the parent. This is, now let's prove it. Suppose here is the gene frequency, here is the genotypic frequency. Here is the genotypes. Suppose this is the genes and this is the genes of the parent and the genotype of the offspring, right? Suppose this is the capital A, do gene, suppose the dominant gene capital A and this is the small a, and that is the genotype of the offspring, that is the capital A, that is the homozygote dominant, and capital A small a, that is the heterozygous, and that is the homozygote recessive. Now here is the frequency. Suppose capital A के लिए frequency small p and small के लिए that is small q. Suppose capital P, suppose H, and this is capital Q. Now there is a relationship between the gene frequency and the genotypic frequency. Now what is the important formula? Later we discuss about the relationship between the gene frequency and the genotypic formula frequency. Capital P, small p plus small q is equal to 1, and is equal to 1. This is very important. This is the formula. And now what is the relationship? Relationship is equal to, now there is a small p is equal to capital P plus half of H, and small q is equal to capital Q plus half of H. There is another relation. And the most important, capital P is equal to small p whole square, and capital H is equal to 2pq, and capital Q is equal to small q whole square. And those are the principle which proves that p square, which proves that p square plus 2pq plus q square is equal to 1. This is the main formula of the Weinberg principles. Okay. Now there is the another 3 important points we will discuss. First point, सपोज कोई क्रोमोसोम के ऊपर जो लोकस है, जो है एक लोकस के ऊपर जितना भी एलील्स रहेगा उसका जो सम होगा, फ्रीक्वेंसी का जो सम होगा, दैट विल बी इक्वल टू द 1. मतलब द फ्रीक्वेंसी ऑफ all the alleles present in one locus is equal to 1. Now this was the first one. And second one, frequency of heterozygotes, the frequency of the heterozygotes, that is a 2pq, is not more than 50%, yeah, not greater than 50%, and maximum, and will be maximum when the gene frequencies are equal. When the gene frequencies are equal. What is the meaning about the gene frequencies are the equal? That is equal to p is equal to q is equal to 0.5. That is equal to p is equal to q is equal to 0.5. And the third part we already discussed. The third part we already discussed, that is the genotypic frequency. The genotypic frequency of the offspring. The genotypic frequency is offspring is only depend upon the gene frequency. Only the gene frequency of parent. So those are the 3 important points. First one is that the frequency of all the alleles present in one locus is equal to 1. And second one is frequencies of the heterozygotes is not greater than 50% or not more than 50%, and will be maximum when the frequencies of the gene are equal, that is p is equal to q is equal to 0.5. Okay. Now third one is the genotypic frequency of the offspring is only depend upon the gene frequency of the parent. And this was the actual question of the JRF 2024 paper of animal science. Okay, now we will discuss about the dependence or the effect. It is the forces affecting the Hardy-Weinberg law. कौन कौन फोर्स इफेक्ट करता है? दो फोर्सेस जनरली इफेक्ट करता है. एक को हम लोग बोलते हैं सिस्टेमिक फोर्सेस और दूसरा होता है कि ना रैंडम फोर्सेस. सिस्टेमिक फोर्सेस इज ऑल्सो नोन एज द directional change and this was also known as dispersive change. सिस्टेमिक चेंज का मतलब क्या है? दिस सिस्टेमिक चेंज एक्टिंग both in the small population plus large population. First point. Second point, it can be predicted in amount as well as direction, and that's why directional change. मतलब जो सिस्टेमिक चेंज है वो एक्ट करेगा इन द स्मॉल पॉपुलेशन एज वेल एज द लार्ज पॉपुलेशंस and it predicted in the amount as well as in the direction. What will be the example? That is the mutation, selection and migration. Right? Now what about the random or dispersive change? These act only the small populations. It can be predicted in amount पे तो शो कर सकते हैं, बट अगर देखा जाए कि डायरेक्शन, तो डायरेक्शन के इसको हम लोग प्रेडिक्ट नहीं कर सकते. जैसे कि रैंडम जेनेटिक ड्रिफ्ट, इसका एग्जांपल हो जाएगा रैंडम जेनेटिक ड्रिफ्ट या स्वेल इफेक्ट. इट इज अ स्वेल राइट इफेक्ट. So this is a very important topic we will discuss, and the portion we will cover is enough for the ICAR JRF exam. So thank you.